Okay, grade nines. Good morning and welcome to Tuesday. I was going to say Wednesday, but it is not Wednesday. It is definitely Tuesday. So we are going to begin with. Well, actually, it's Monday when I'm filming this. Um, but and you're watching this, it is Tuesday. So we are going to get into it. Um, Unfortunately, I'm not there with you to play rock paper scissors. Hopefully, we get those bracelets handed out, and be I will be on the track outside in track and field today. So, if you do happen to make your way out there and you have 5 bracelets, you can definitely challenge me to some rock paper scissors. Okay. So, what we are going to do here is we are going to look at a little note. We're going to take a little note. So, you should all have this in front of you right now, solving equations with fractions. And then you do have a sheet or a worksheet there with questions on it. So, we're going to go through this note first. Okay, I'm going to do some examples for you. And then once we've done this, you should have enough time to practice some questions. Okay. If you want to take a look at that warm up right now, we can definitely pause the video and you can attempt those warm up questions. If not, we can kind of get right into it here. Okay. So it does say here to cross cancel the following. Okay. So what that means, okay, is what we're going to do here is a couple of these are a little easier than others. Um, but what we're going to do, I'm going to show you kind of how I would generally work with these. Okay. So how I would work with some of these questions. So let's zoom in on our first one here. So what it means by cross canceling here. Okay. What it means by cross canceling. And this happens when you're working with fractions and multiplication. So the first thing I do want to point out is this 4, and I could ask you all, but that's 4 over what number? And I'm hoping that you're thinking that's over 1, right? Because that is over 1. Any whole number is always just over 1. So what it means when it's saying use cross cancel is it's saying that when I'm looking across here, I'm looking at the 4 and the 2. Okay, now that's kind of a little bit of a weird circle there. But we're looking, and maybe I'll write this out to make this look a little better. But we're looking at, okay, we have 4 over 1 times 3 over 2. And what it means by cross cancel, it means look at these two numbers here, the 4 and the 2. And can I cancel out? Like, what is 4 divided by 2? And 4 divided by 2 is equal to 2. So what happens here is this 2 goes away, and we're left with 4 divided by 2 is 2. So we're actually just left with 2 times 3 in this question. And what that's equal to is, I'm sure hopefully we got that in off the top of our heads, maybe 2 times 3 is equal to 6. Okay? So that, looking at that cross cancellation there, you look across and you do kind of division there. Okay? So this is kind of a little trick that you can do when multiplying fractions. Now remember, I'm just going to show you here that when you're multiplying fractions from earlier in the year, 4 over 1 times 3 over 2, we generally do top times top and bottom times bottom. So 4 times 3 is 12, and 1 times 2 is 2. And 12 divided by 2 is 6. So notice there how we arrive at the same answer, but using a bit of a different, a different strategy. So in this next one, we're going to zoom in a little bit here. We have 1 over 3 times 3 over 6. I'm going to look and notice that diagonally, these 3's are the same. So the 3 divided by 3, right, we always do the top over the bottom. So 3 divided by 3, that's actually just 1. So those actually just cancel out. And all we're left with is 1 over 6. Okay, if the numbers are the same, they go away, and you're left with whatever number is on top and whatever number is on the bottom. Okay, now you could have tried this. 1 times 3 is 3, and 3 times 6 is 18, and then you could have reduced that to 1 over 6. Okay, let's try it again. In this one, we're going to recognize here that 10 and 5 kind of go together, right? 10 divided by 5, well, the 5 is going to go away, and 10 divided by 5 becomes 2. I'm going to write that there. I'm also going to recognize here that the 2 and the 4 go evenly into each other. And the 2 is smaller, so the 2 is going to go away, and 4 divided by 2 is 2. So I'm going to put that little 2 there. And then what I get is I actually get equals. I have a 2 on the top, 2 over a 2 on the bottom. And well, hopefully we all know what 2 divided by 2 is. 2 divided by 2 is just 1. Okay, 2 pieces of pizza for 2 friends. We each get 1 slice. Okay, and let's try that one more time. Here, what I'm going to recognize is the 3 and the 6 kind of go together. And 3 is the smaller number, so we're going to cross out the 3. And 6 divided by 3 is 2, so I'm going to put my 2 on the bottom. What we have now is on the top, we have a 1, and on the bottom, we have 8 times 2. So we have 16. And that's our answer there. So that's just a little bit of a strategy there that you can use when you're multiplying fractions. You can also just do top times top and bottom times bottom if that works for you. But that's just a little easy strategy that you can work with there. Okay. What we're going to look at now is we're going to look at a few questions that look for what is the lowest common denominator. Okay. So when we're looking for lowest common denominator, we're looking at, well, we're focused on denominator, which is the number on the bottom. And we're looking for the lowest number that both 2 and 3 go into. So generally what I think of it, how I will typically do it, is I'll typically count by 3s. So 3 is my first denominator. So I'll count by 3s. I'll go 3, 6, 9, 12. I'll stop at 12. And then what I'll do is I'll count by my other denominator. So I counted by 3s. Now I'm going to count by my other denominator. So that's 2, 4, 6. Oh, notice how we got one that's the same. So that is going to be what we call our lowest common denominator. It's the lowest number that both 2 and 3 go into. Okay, let's take a look at my next one. Again, we're going to look at the denominator 2. So I'm going to count by 2s. 2, 4, 6, 8. Oh, look at, I hit 8. Interesting. So I'm going to circle 8. And let's count by 8s. 8. Oh, what? Well, what the heck? I already hit 8. What's my lowest common denominator? Both of those numbers go into 8. Okay, let's try 3 and 5. So let's count by 3s. 3, 6, 9, 12, 15. Okay, if we know our times tables, we might recognize that 15 is a multiple of 5, right? 5, 10, 15. Oh, there we go. 15. Our lowest common multiple in this case is 15. Okay. Now that's going to be important when we're solving, when we're doing questions where we're solving for solving questions involving fractions. All right. So let's scroll down a little more. All right. Now this question says, how many terms are there in the following equations? Okay. So when we count terms, we count individual things. Okay. So I'm going to count terms here. I'm going to count 1 term, 2 terms, 3 terms, 4 terms. So this one has 4 terms. Okay. Let's do the next one. 1 term, 2 terms, 3 terms, 4 terms, 5 terms. 5 terms. Okay. And when we move forward here in just a moment, we're going to see that when we talk about a common denominator, we want every single one of our terms to have the same denominator. Okay? We'll talk about that in a minute, but those are kind of individual terms there. All right. Continuing. Let's put it all together. So what we're going to do here is we are going to solve for the following variables. Okay? So let's do the first one. Now, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to show you a little bit of a different strategy. Okay, I'm going to show you a little bit of a different strategy that maybe we haven't done before. And in this strategy, what we're going to do is we're going to get every term to have the same denominator. Denominator. Okay, that's what our goal is. So that's what we're going to do. Okay, so my first one here, I notice that my denominator here is 4. So what I want then is I want everything in this equation to have a denominator of 4. So the only thing that doesn't is 128. Right now that's over 1. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to multiply the top by 4 and the bottom by 4. So then my equation becomes, that's really bad A. A over 4 equals 512 over 4. Now, here's the best part of this. When your denominators are all the same, we just cross them all out. And so we get our answer of A equals 512. Okay? Now let's take a look at our next one. Now the next one's very interesting. Well, kind of interesting. I think it's very interesting. Because notice how we have 4 over 3 in front of the B. This can be written as 4b over 3. And we're going to say that that's equal to 8. So what is my denominator right now is a 3. So I want everything to have a denominator of 3. So I'm going to write this as over 1. And so we're going to multiply my top by 3 and my bottom by 3. And that becomes 4b over 3 equals 24 over 3. Now my denominators are the same. I cross them out. My equation becomes 4b equals 24, and we know how to solve those. I just divide this side by 4, and I get b equals 6. Okay? So far, so good, hopefully. This video is going to be on D2L, so you can always check it out. We're going to do 4 more examples here. Okay? So notice this one. What I want to do here is I want every term, I'm going to put every term over 1. I want every term to have a denominator of, to have a denominator of, what's my only denominator here? 4. So that means I'm going to multiply every number, top and bottom, by 4. Top by 4, bottom by 4. Top by 4, bottom by 4. Let's see what we get. We get 1 over 4, bracket, 4x over 4, plus 8 over 4 equals 20 over 4. Now my denominators are all the same. Let's cross them all out. And this just becomes something that we've seen before. 4x plus 8 equals 20. Now you know how to solve this. We're going to multiply our 1 into our bracket. We get 4x plus 8 equals 20. I'm going to grab this 8 and I'm going to move it over to the other side where it becomes minus 8. So we get 4x equals 12. And we're then going to divide by 4. That gets rid of the 4. And we get x equals 3. Wow, look at that. Just solved the question involving fractions. Okay. We're going to try that again. Again, these solutions are posted in OneNote, so you can check them out. You can also watch this video again if you want on your own while you're trying to practice the questions. So this one, notice my denominator is 5. Well, over here it's just 1. Let's make all the denominators 5. So multiply the top by 5 and the bottom by 5. So what do we get? Well, let's go back to my green. I like that green. M plus 5 over 5 equals 15 over 5. My denominators are the same. I can cancel them out. I get M plus 5 equals 15. We're going to grab that 5. We're going to bring it over here where it becomes a minus 5. And then we're going to say, okay, well, M equals 10. 15 minus 5 is 10. And that's our solution. Okay, so we're looking at what is a challenging question, looks like a challenging question, and we're simplifying it. We're making it a little bit simpler here. Okay. We have 2 more questions, and then I'm going to let you try some on your own. Okay, so this one here, notice how in this one, our denominators are different. Okay, we have 2 denominators. So what I want to do here is I want to figure out what do both of those numbers, or what is our lowest common denominator. So like I said earlier, I'm going to count by 4s. 4, 8, 12. Ooh, interesting. Let's count by 3s. 3, 6, 9, 12. Okay, 12 works. So what do I need to multiply 4 by to get to 12? 1, 2, 3. So I'm going to multiply the top by 3, the bottom by 3. And this is really interesting. I'm going to multiply every single number on top by 3. So notice how every single number in that fraction I multiply by 3. On the other side, what do I multiply 3 by to get 12? 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to multiply every single number by 4. Now, what do we get? On the left, we get 3m plus 6 over 12 equals 4m plus 24 over 12. And what do we do when our denominator is the same? We cancel it out. So now this one's a little tricky because this involves some stuff from just our most recent spiral. So we get 3m plus 6 equals 4m plus 24. Now hopefully you remember here that I want to bring all my m's to one side and all my constants to the other side. So what we get is we get 3m minus 4m equals 24 minus 6. Minus 6. Simplifying a little bit further, we get negative 1m equals 18. And my very last step is I'm going to divide by negative 1. Divide by negative 1. And our answer is m equals negative 18. Okay? Now let's try one more. And what you'll notice before I move on to the next one, the last one here, as you can see, it's getting a little late. We are going to, the worksheet that you're going to work on, the questions get progressively harder. Okay? So start with the easy ones and just, but you got to do them all, because the more of these you do, the better you'll understand it, the more a hang you'll get for it, and you'll be stronger because of that. Okay, so number 6, actually this one's not as bad as that last one. Notice that it's over 3. Nothing else is over 3. So we want to make that's over 1, that's over 1, that's over 1. We want to make all of these over 3. So times 3 times 3 times 3 times 3 times 3 times 3. What do we get? We get 1 over 3 bracket 3x over 3 minus 6 over 3 equals 15 over 3. My bottoms are all 3's. They all cancel out. We get 1 bracket 3x minus 6 equals 15. We're going to grab this 1 and we're going to distribute that 1 into my brackets. We get 3x minus 6 equals 15. We're going to grab this negative 6. It needs to be on the other side, where it's going to become a plus 6. We get 3x equals 15 plus 6 is 21. And my last step is to divide by that 3. Get rid of that 3. And we're left with x equal to 7. Okay. That is the end of the note there. Okay. Hopefully we got that down. There is a challenge question there for you to try. Well, actually 2. This, like I said, is on OneNote. For period 2, I am going to copy and paste this over to period 2. So we're just going to do this. Is actually our spiral 3. So we're going to, spiral 4. There we go. And then I'm just going to paste that page here right now. Hopefully it works. Doesn't want to work. So let's try that again. I want to do it right now so we can see it happen. Period 2 should have that page. There we go. All right. So take a look. The note is there for you to check out on your OneNote. You're now going to work on the little homework sheet that I've left you with. And then anybody that needed to finish their quiz from yesterday will have an opportunity to do that tomorrow in class. Okay? Have a fantastic rest of your day, everyone, and we will see you all tomorrow. All right? Take care.